Hello, this video is a summary of paper 2, Pseudocode, Cambridge system. For lazy students. The students who didn't practice enough, they are not yet ready for the exam, not 100% ready. They can watch this video. It contains all the common situations, scenarios that Cambridge usually ask. In fact, what we did, I have extracted all pseudocodes in the history of paper 2. Pseudocode 1, this is another pseudocode from past papers, of course, from paper 2. This is another pseudocode 5, 6, 7, all the pseudocodes in the history of paper 2. They are 111 pseudocode from 2021 to 2023 November. So many papers. These pseudocodes have a common pattern. What I did, I put these pseudocodes in GPT-4 and I used the AI potential skills to try to predict what can come in the next paper and what are the patterns and some useful tips for solving problem. So what did we find? We found that the pseudocode problems can be related to string manipulation or to file manipulation or to array manipulation or others. The percentage, the string, the problems that are dealing with string represent 45% of the whole problems, the 111 problems. The problems related to file represent 27%, and the problems related to array represent 10%, and the others, by others I mean the others are 80%, like manipulating integers, simple problems like integers, boolean, simple boolean, only one character, date and time. There are so many other problems. We will not talk about them. We will focus on the most commonly problems. For example, in the string manipulation, it is so likely to have at least one or two string manipulation function or procedure in your exam. This is what the history says. In string manipulation, you often will have to use while construct. 44% of the string manipulation are solved using a while loop, and 38% are solved using a for loop to traverse the string character by character. Within this loop, inside this loop, there is an if-else statement, 70%. Yani most probably you will use one of these two, while or for, and inside it you will use if-else statement to process each part of the string. Functions like length of the string are used 25% in the mark scheme, and mid is used 30%. to extract substrings. These are the main two functions used to solve string problems. An example that give the most common construct that you may find in the string is this example. Here we have a for loop from 0 to length -1, or from 1 to length of the string. Then inside the loop there is an if statement and else. This is a typical example that we always find in the string manipulation. Now let's go back to the file manipulation. 27% of the problems are file problems. Here most probably you will have to use the while loop to solve a file problem. 96% of the file problems are solved using the while loop. Why? Because we always need to check the end of file. So this is a function is always used because we want to loop through the lines of the file line by line until we reach the end of file. This is how to do it, a while loop, while حتى يصل للend of file. Inside that loop you will extract the line using the function read file and then you will use if else statement 85% of the time to check something in that line, the line that you extracted. So you can see that the pattern of the file is more similar than the pattern of the string. Yani we solve the file problem in the same way usually. This is I can write an example. For example, while not end of file, ونحط الفايل name, then we will read the file name and line. So now we have a line. We will process using an if. We will process that line using an if else to solve that problem. It depends on that specific problem. Now let's that's all. Let's go to the array. 10% of the problems are solved with an array, and in the array you will most probably use a for loop. 90% always we use the for loop in the array. So when you find an array, you try to use the for loop because 90% it is the correct solution according to the history of Cambridge pseudocodes of paper 2. Inside that loop you will most probably use again if else statement 60% of the time. There is one important function is the length of the array is used also 40% of the time. I can give you an example for index starting from 1 to length بتاع الارray, and then we will check if الarray with the index is something, for example, greater than a threshold, equal to something. We will do something else. We will do something else. Next, index. This example is a very common examples of example of the array use. After we can also mention that 41% of the models are functions, and of course 59% of the models are procedures. Of course, we use procedure when we want to perform a sequence of steps without returning a value, and we use function when we want to return value. If they ask you to use function or procedure, we are fine. If they don't specify, means that they will give you a hint. They will tell you return something, so you will use the header of the function. If they will not tell you return something, you have to use the header of the procedure. For 41 and 59 are not meaningful in terms of prediction, so they sometimes give function, they sometimes give procedures, so no meaning for this statistic. Now I asked the AI to predict based on the 111 history pseudocode. I asked him to predict a question. I am copying the question. I will put it here. Write pseudocode to traverse a string and replace every occurrence of the letter E with capital E. The string should be input by the user and the modified string should be output. This is question 1. Question 2. Write pseudocode to read a file named student.txt line by line and count the number of students who scored more than 70 marks. This is file related. Each line output the count of such students. Question number 3. Write pseudocode to find the maximum value in an array of integers. The array should be input by the user and the maximum value should be output. Of course, these questions will not come in your next exam. It is prediction doesn't mean you will find this question, but prediction means that the pattern of the previous questions is like this. So you can, if you practice these 3 questions, it's like you are practicing the general pattern of the past papers. This is one remark. The second one, what I'm showing you now is the common pattern in pseudocode problems in the history of Cambridge. But remember, the best way to be ready is not to follow this video, but is to practice a lot and try so many exercises to be prepared for any type of problem, not only the common problems like this video. Okay, that's all.